Pol Pot, the shadow that transformed Cambodia into a labyrinth of terror and utopia. Pol Pot, whose real name was Saloth Sar, was born on May 19, 1925, in Pre Vang, Cambodia, into a modest family with educational aspirations, deeply shaped by rural tradition and local hierarchies. From a very young age, Saloth Sar witnessed the disparity between the wealth of landowners and the poverty of peasants, the unquestionable authority of the elders, and the fragility of human life. This early experience planted in him a rigid idea of order, justice, and, above all, the need to rebuild society from its roots, according to his own vision, which would later become absolute and terrifying. During his youth, Pol Pot studied in Phnom Penh and later traveled to Paris, where he was influenced by communist, Marxist, and revolutionary ideas circulating in intellectual circles. There, amid ideological debates and radical readings, he consolidated a vision of a purified society where traditional hierarchies, private property, and foreign influence had to be eliminated to make way for a fully equal and self-sufficient Cambodia. His thinking, though academic in appearance, concealed an ideological rigidity that would later transform into a policy of terror. Upon returning to Cambodia in the 1950s, Pol Pot joined the local communist movement, gaining influence among peasants and establishing a clandestine network that would later become the Khmer Rouge. His message was simple yet powerful: a Cambodia free of corruption, inequality, and exploitation, where rural life and collectivism would be the pillars of the new nation. But behind this utopia lay a cold calculation and an iron determination to eliminate any opposition, real or perceived, through methods that would surpass the imagination of any observer. In 1975, with the fall of Phnom Penh, Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge took control of Cambodia. Pol Pot became the architect of a project he viewed as a moral and social revolution. Within days, the capital and other cities were emptied, and millions of people were forced to move to the countryside. There, under the regime's strict discipline, every citizen was expected to contribute to the collective effort, without private property, without religion, without traditional schools, and without family life as it had been known before. Pol Pot's vision of a purified Cambodia became a silent machine of extermination. The pursuit of a perfect society turned into a systematic genocide. Intellectuals, professionals, ethnic minorities, religious individuals, and anyone perceived as a threat to his utopia were killed or worked to death in forced labor camps. Decisions, often arbitrary, reflected his absolute conviction that the end justified the means, and that ideological purity was worth more than the lives of millions. Pol Pot never sought international recognition nor built a traditional personality cult, although he was feared and respected within the country. His authority was exercised through fear, constant surveillance, and psychological manipulation, creating a network of obedience that made dissent a deadly risk. His government, from 1975 to 1979, transformed Cambodia into an extreme social experiment where ideology became indistinguishable from oppression, and utopia from nightmare. The Vietnamese invasion in 1979 ended his regime in Phnom Penh, but Pol Pot remained in hiding, leading remnants of resistance and maintaining influence over some rural sectors. His figure became a symbol of the persistence of radicalism, of the destructive power of ideology when turned into dogma, and of the devastation that one individual can cause when manipulating entire social structures. Today, Pol Pot is remembered as the architect of one of the deepest human tragedies of the 20th century. His name is synonymous with terror, the total loss of humanity, and the paradox that the pursuit of a perfect society can lead to absolute hell. He was not a conventional leader nor a revolutionary in the romantic sense. He was a master of absolute control, ideological coercion, and the transformation of fear into a political instrument. The story of Pol Pot is also the story of Cambodia, a country that suffered dictatorships, invasions, and genocide, yet resists, remembers, and rebuilds. His legacy, dark and disturbing, serves as a universal warning about the dangers of extremism, fanaticism, and the illusion that social perfection can be imposed without considering the humanity of those who make up a society. In the end, reflecting on his life and impact reveals an unsettling lesson: the capacity of an individual to dominate and destroy can be as powerful as any political or military force, and the vulnerability of societies to absolute leaders shows that human history is not always written with justice or reason. And so, Pol Pot became a universal symbol of the fact that greatness does not always lie in creation, but sometimes in devastation, and that the shadow of one man can extend over millions of lives, altering the memory and destiny of an entire nation. Don't forget to like, share, and leave your comment. Write who you want to see in the next video, the next story could be your choice.